Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Ehrman.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. Today, we are going to talk about what I see versus what you see. And I do typically get a lot of hate, keyboard warriors. However, I don't want to talk about the stupidity of them today. We're going to just skip right over that. But we're going to talk about why what I am seeing is so very different than what you guys out there are experiencing. And I've noticed that so many people, if I say something on social media, obviously the keyboard warriors are there because it's a 30-second clip or a 15-second clip, and they don't listen to the whole thing. But at the end of the day, what I am experiencing with my clients is a vast difference from what most people are seeing out in the agriculture world. I am talking to people that are typically financially set. They have done well for themselves. They've ran their business great. And the reason that I'm seeing that is because these people are frankly educated. They care. If they didn't care, they wouldn't read the book, wait 3 months to get in to see me, and want to progress, right? These people, because they picked up the book, they already beat the arrival syndrome. Now, not all of them. Some people might pick up the book and then I get hate because I wrote a book about, buying life insurance. And they miss the whole point of the concept. However, the people that make it to me, because I'm essentially pre-qualifying people and saying, hey, you have to read the book. You have to understand some of this before I meet with you. And so what I'm seeing is people that are sitting okay financially. They are typically successful in whatever they're doing in life. It frankly doesn't matter if it's just farming, if it's ranching, whatever it is, they are successful. If they have a business, they're most likely successful. If they are not in a position where they are successful, they are in a mindset where they want to be successful and they are ready to learn and eager to take the steps necessary to get where they need to go. And so I've recently just, for whatever reason, the light bulb went on. All this spew of hatred towards what I say in a 30-second clip is people that have the arrival syndrome, people that see their neighbors struggling. And the majority of the people in the egg industry are struggling, right? They don't have they're barely making a living feeding out cows. They're barely making a living farming. They don't understand how everybody is buying land and making it work. So their question is not correct, right? And I've talked about this many years ago in a different podcast. Stop asking and stop saying, oh, we can't do that, and start asking, how can we? And our jealousy kills our curiosity. I talk about that once in a while as well. And so we are in a position where we're surrounded by people that are struggling, and the only people we're talking to are the people that are struggling. Well, what do you think we're going to have more of? Struggling. So when we see somebody that's successful, if we have a neighbor that's a big farmer, if we have a neighbor that's a hog producer and he's making money, if we have a neighbor that's a rancher and he's buying new things and he's got stuff and he's not, financing everything to the hilt, then ask them what they're doing. And the particular video and clip that we've talked about, or that I'm talking about, is about hog producers. It was a clip from the Barn Talk video, or the Barn Talk interview that I did. And I talked about how hog producers make money once the barn is paid for. And everybody's like, well, you're just a moron, because that barn needs repairs and it needs lots of repairs. Well, no kidding. Your house needs repairs as well. So do your grain bins, so do your shops, so do your tractors, so do your combines. Like everything is going to need repairs. And we have to figure that in. But it's about utilizing the money correctly. When we make that repair, can we not put our money through the policy first and then borrow against the policy to make the repair and pay it back? It's all how we utilize money. A lot of times it's very hard to do when we have a hog barn payment to run that through the policy first, because guess what? We don't have the income to do so until that barn is paid off normally. And so these people are not like, I am talking to hog producers that are making money. Like I had a hog producer a week or two ago. It was unbelievable the amount of money that they had. And they've just been really smart about what they did. They didn't do anything different than somebody that was raising cattle that made money. They didn't do anything different than somebody that was farming that made money. They ran their business. They didn't avoid taxes. They didn't overbuy things. They didn't finance themselves to the hilt. And no, they didn't get it given to them. Oh my God, don't even get me started on that comment. And so these people are doing what they need to do to run a business. And so many people are stuck out there having coffee with the neighbors who are all struggling, and they all have a pity party. They're all crying in their coffee. It's not even their beer, right? The beer comes at night. They cry in the morning in their coffee, and then they're crying at night in their beer. It is something that we have to pay attention to our numbers. Look at what is happening to the people in the community that are doing well. Guess what? Those people that are doing well are my clients. And I am seeing just a very different perspective of what successful people are doing versus non-successful people or people that are struggling. And so people can sit and say, Mary Jo, you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. Or you can pick up the book, you can read it, and you can educate yourself on why am I seeing all these people and why am I saying all of these things? Because the people that come to me are pre-qualified, right? I had a great conversation yesterday with a young couple, and they're changing some of their stuff and they're doing regenerative agriculture. I said, "Oh, have you heard of ranching for profit? Have you heard of sell by marketing?" Nope, hasn't heard of any of those things. I'm like, "Have you heard of Faro Cattle Company?" All this information that I'm getting from my successful producers, I am sharing. Take it for what it's worth. Research it. Decide if you like it. If you don't like it, that's absolutely fantastic. Disregard the information. Just like if you buy the book and you don't like it, give it to somebody else, whatever. I don't frankly care if you use it as a fire starter. Not everybody's going to agree, but to sit and say there is no success in this industry is absolutely false. And to sit and say, Mary Jo, you're an idiot because you don't know what you're talking about. No, my friend, you don't know what you're talking about because you've not seen the success, and there is plenty of it. So when the little guy falls apart and the big guy comes in and takes over, it is because the big guy is running his operation like a business. They are not getting any more special treatment from the bank normally, right? The bank, I have talked to big guys that the bank doesn't necessarily love them either. You can't be renting 10,000 acres and own 1,000 and leasing all your equipment. The bank has nothing for collateral. You're not going to be their favorite client, okay? So it's the big guy is not always getting that special treatment. They are running their business like a business. Even people that don't farm don't do that. If I have ranchers that are doing well, it's because they went through ranching for profit. They paid attention to what they learned and then they applied it. No, I've never been through ranching for profit. I have lots of clients that do. I have lots of those clients that have success stories. And it is a hard program. Is it expensive? Yeah, but it's also expensive to lose a lot of money. And so it's all relative to what you want to do and accomplish in life. So that's my little 2 cents today, is keep in mind when you hear me talking that I am talking probably to the top 1% of the 1% of farmers in this country. But those people are coming because of the fact that they understand something needs to change. They are looking at their books. They're constantly educating themselves. Can you imagine if you never looked at your farming practices and you never changed what you were doing? Where would you be? You would still be doing what you were doing in 1960, right? In 1930. And some people want to go back to that and they want to homestead, and that's okay too. But if you're not going to change, you need to accept the fact that you're probably not going to learn how to make money and be successful. All right, I kind of ping-ponged a little bit right there during this whole thing, but the moral of the story is, in any sector of life, we can be the top 1% or we can be at the bottom, wallowing in our sorrows with everybody else. I prefer to be at the top, talking about how I can progressively get better all the time and never having the arrival syndrome, because the people at the bottom, if they want to stay there, that's fine, but that's not where I want to hang. And so I don't want to dwell in the sorrow of it all. I am the kind of person that says, how do we fix that? How do we move forward? I want to create the solution to the problem. And we get to choose where we want to be. All right, guys. Comments, questions, concerns, you let me know. Mary Jo at withoutthebank.com. You can also go to the MJ hotline and you can leave me a comment on there. You can leave me a question for the podcast, whatever you want to do. All right, you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.